Oh, you have is this your plant here? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you're fine because it's gonna,
I just reported this one. I am not sure is it okay or not. Okay.
Oh, you just
just
mounted it, right? No, it's fine. It's good. Actually, it's kind of growing off on this direction. So, if you can
I guess
do
it's several directions,
Yeah.
right? This one, that one.
the best thing to do actually is to divide it. So I would cut it. I would divide it and remount it.
Okay.
So
Makes
cut
sense.
it here. You got a lead here, and then mount it flat to the
I see. Okay.
cork bar. Because what happens is it's just going to travel up into the air, and it's not going to have anything to grow onto. So what you really wanted to do is to have it grow on the surface of this cork bar.
Okay.
So this would be a good place to cut it, and then place a little bit of moss underneath it, sphagnum moss or something like that, and then tie it to or wire it to the cork. A little bit of the moss is going to give it some moisture, because these things tend to dry out pretty quickly. When you mount things, you kind of have to water them almost every day, because they do dry out quickly.
Okay.
With a little moss, it's going to give it a little bit of moisture there, and a little padding. So you create a little pad of moss, put the plant on it, and then wire it onto it.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah. Oh, we got cattleyas and stuff like that. This,
Can I look? This one have like Fusarium. So would you recommend something to it? I know.
oh, Baueringiana by Bryce Canyon. That's a steward's class.
So
This needs repotting. That's all. Actually, take it out and put this edge back to this, so that this lead growth.
Agree.
Yeah.
But if it is Fusarium,
Oh yeah, Fusarium. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
To trash?
It doesn't look like Fusarium will.
no, it is. It is when I cut one bulb, I can see a ring, purple ring. I'm just thinking.
well
what I-
then, isn't that
trash or not?
No. Where you cut it, make sure that if you still see green, you're fine. Meaning that cut off the dead stuff. Work your way up toward the lead, toward the front. Cut off, black bulb after black bulb. Once you start seeing, the rhizome, the inner rhizome that's green or not black, you're fine. And what you can do is take
that paste?
Bordeaux mixture, a fungicide, and make a paste with copper. It's called copper sulfate. But I should write this down.
Okay.
But a Bordeaux mixture, put a fungicide paste on it.
I see. Okay.
Or you know what people do? Wet it a little bit and put cinnamon on it.
Yeah, cinnamon works.
Cinnamon works too as a fungus.
Are you trusting to cinnamon?
Oh yes, I've saved
Yeah,
plants with
cinnamon works
Really?
too.
Yeah.
Just briefly, one by one.
Okay.
For example, this one.
Okay. So this is
It's VLC, right?
okay. It's Nodosa by Cordata, little stars.
What I'm missing?
This requires almost full sun. Brassavola nodosa is in the wild grows in full sun. So you can give it very, very bright light. Because of its narrow leaves, they call it terrate leaves, it can tolerate very, very bright sunshine. And in order to get it to grow well or flower, you can grow this in near full sun. So, actually full sun. It won't burn because the leaves are so thin. With the flatter leaves, like a normal labia cattleya, the tendency is if you put it in full sun, it's going to burn. But when you have the very narrow leaves like this, you can take a lot of sun. And so give it more light.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, mini song is a splash petal, and it's kind of if you saw that flower prism palette in my show or presentation, it's similar to that, but the flowers are miniatures. So its parent is Mary song, but mini song is much smaller. So it's a miniature.
Question: what I'm doing wrong?
Oh, well, this thing needs to be repotted. So what you can do is
What's the name of this? Insignia Randy.
So it should be established, right?
Well, you know what? It's sort of clinging in there. So it's got new roots right now. So the best thing to do is start just repot it up. So take it out of this little plastic part and pot it up in about this size pot. It could go into something about this size.
I see.
Yeah. So as in my talk about repotting and dividing, set it down. You don't have to divide it, but put the back edge of it against the side and into the lead. Yeah. But it needs to be more secure in the pot. Because you're growing in a rock, if you don't want to, you may just even have to fill rock in. Because you're growing in stones, backfill it with some stones so that it can secure the plant.
I see.
Yeah, so that might be even easier. Because you don't have it growing in bark, just backfill it with stone and set it into the pot a little deeper, that's all. It should be fine. Yeah.
What about this? This
yeah.
one, right?
Don't forget that. Yeah. So yeah, this needs to be just set in there better. Tokyo Bay by Pink Empress. It's still a small plant. So this thing is about a year away from blooming, maybe 2 years. But the plant normally will get about 18 inches tall. It's a combination of a medium-sized purple by a really big purple. Pink Empress is about an 8-inch flower, 8-inch pink flower. Tokyo Bay is about a 6 3/4-inch flower. Combined to that, you'll get a big, 7-inch.
So just wait, right?
Just wait. It just needs a little bit more time. Oh yeah, thank you.
This one.
And that one. Okay.
Let's question about this
Oh.
one. This one, what is that? It happens in a cold period, I guess.
It could be, yeah. This is Lawless says Zoberflow. Okay, this is it should be a yellow and orange, I think. And again, this is a baby plant still, so this is another about 2 years away from blooming.
So wait, just
Yeah,
wait,
just
right?
wait. Yeah, you got a lot of smaller, plants.
Can you tell me for that one? Because yeah, that one.
Okay. Okay. Warneri by Purpurata. So you have to. It's a primary hybrid of Cattleya warneri, which is a big flower about this big, semi-alba, by the species Laelia purpurata, which is another semi-alba species. So normally this plant, so you got a sheath on it, so this is good.
You know what? I have a sheep like once per year. It is like third year.
Oh,
for me,
okay.
But it is not blooming for me. What I'm
Well,
missing?
it looks pretty good. This, again, it's a bright light. But you know what? A bright light. But what you can do is, along with the bright light, change the fertilizer. So if you go to the nursery or your orchid supply store, and you see stuff that says like 510, 5510, or the last two numbers are higher. Get that, because they're bloom boosters. They help promote blooming. If you get like 30, 10, 10, the first number is nitrogen. So find some fertilizer that is low in nitrogen but higher in potassium and phosphates. By doing that, you're going to help increase blooming. So that's another trick too, is change up the fertilizer too. Especially right now too. As we get into the fall period right now, start giving it lower nitrogen fertilizer and higher potassium and phosphates, and it's going to help the plant bloom.
Okay. Few more questions.
Oh,
This one.
Okay.
Also baby?
This is mature size, just about. This new growth is pretty mature. This is epidendron by Encyclia. This takes bright light again. Encyclia is an epidendron, it's like pretty bright light, not quite as bright as light as the dodosa, but in Florida they grow them in full sun, so they can tolerate pretty bright light. But small multiflora flowers, normally brown and green, but they'll put up a raceme about this long and about maybe 5 to 7 flowers. Small flowers, but not.
And what about this, like kind of? That's also like cold period, and I can see it. Can it be Fusarium or what it can be? I'm just not sure why it happens. When it is wet and it is cold, I can see like this stuff.
Well, this is okay.
What I can do with this one?
It's starting to put out new growth, so it's got new roots. So I would
just add rocks.
add more rocks to it. Yeah, that we should find.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is putting out new roots, and once established roots into something more, into a media, the leaves will pump up.
Got it. Thank you so much. Give me a sec. For that one, is it not too wet?
Yeah, it's a little too wet.
Too wet?
Yeah.